great. And we are going to have our wonderful demo artist, Eric. Are you there? Or you have gone away? Let me see.
No, I'm here the whole time.
Oh, I'm like, that's not good. Thank you for hearing us out. I know it's all our club things, but
Oh, no worries. That's great.
and
It was great.
okay, so Mary is going to take over. She's going to
Hi, Eric.
introduce our wonderful artist.
Hey, let me give a little background on Eric. This was given to me by Angelo, and he can't be there here tonight. Growing up, Eric Lynn found drawing and painting exciting and as a way to fulfill his difficult childhood. Like a lot of artists, he didn't feel like he fit in, but with art, he was in his element. So Eric graduated in 2007 as an illustrator from the Art Center College of Design and found success in graphic design and illustration and in film and digital art for video games. So he chose watercolor because of its elusive and translucent nature, giving viewers a soft and airy experience that feels gentle and not imposing. Eric also honed his skills by studying with renowned artists like Joseph Spukvik and Andy Evanson. At some point, Eric questioned himself as an artist and about what he enjoyed most in his life, and the answers came fairly quickly. He wants his art to remind people of good memories and beautiful moments in everyday life, and to celebrate those things with their loved ones. Eric wants his art to be a gateway which provides precious moments and memories that will give viewers an evolving and wonderful nostalgic feeling. Now, Eric shares his paintings and his painting knowledge through lessons and tutorials on his YouTube video channel and has reached over 100,000 subscribers since 2020, and the numbers are growing. So Eric also runs an online cafe where you can learn about art, learn to do watercolor. You can take lessons, you can view his great art, and you can read his blog, which is really interesting, and enjoy all the aspects of his watercolor style. His website is cafewatercolor.com. Now to you, Eric. Can't wait to see it. Let's go.
Okay. So thanks for the introduction. Yeah, really happy that you guys reached out to me. I'm actually surprised somebody just found me. And yeah, so I think I have about, 45 minutes or so. I am not quite sure how much time do I have, like an hour.
You have, yes, Eric, you have 45 minutes, 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that enough? I hope.
Yeah, I'll try to do my best.
Okay.
I don't paint well under pressure and under time limit. So, so if I mess it up,
Eric,
I apologize in advance.
Eric, you are in the group of artists. They all love you, and you don't need to finish. Just have fun and just share
Thank you
your
so much.
talent. So don't worry about it, Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So I was talking with Angelo, what should I paint? I paint mostly landscape and portrait. And he said that you guys had a lot of landscape painters. So he thought that would be nice if I paint either a portrait or like an animal, like a pet. I have over there, that's my cat. The background is actually not my home. I just find a image, like a stock photo, and I just photoshopped the cat on it because the setting of that photo is actually pretty dull. It's just, there's not much in the background. So I thought to kind of put her in the setting, matching the lighting or so. So that will be my reference today. And hopefully I will be able to finish. So while you guys are talking, I was listening, but I was just trying to get ahead of myself, trying to do a drawing here just so that I can save a little bit of time. That being said, what I want to show you guys is the process that I do a value study first, and I do a color version first. So value study basically is just a black and white painting with 3 different values, the paper white, the middle value, and the dark value. And I start to do that since I study from Andy Evenson. If you guys know, he is a phenomenal watercolor artist. And that is a very, very good way for you to just get familiarized with your subject and able to group the value to make it very simple and readable. And a lot of time, I've been doing this for quite a while, but every single time I do a value study, it still helps me tremendously. So I'll be doing a very, very rough drawing for my value study, just so that you guys can still see how I kind of approach my drawing. My cat, this is Nikomata. She is about a year old. She's still like a smaller cat. We adopted 2 cats as a family during the last year. I think during the pandemic, people start to adopt a lot of pets because they kind of stuck home, don't know what to do, so they start to adopt animals and pets and stuff. And I used to have cat before this as well, so both my wife and I, we love cats, so we adopt 2 cats. My 3 boys are very, very exciting about it.
But this cat is like unique. Look at that. He's like looking up in the sky.
Yeah. I think in real life, she's just looking for food. So looking up to
Does she have
my
a name?
wife. Nikomata is a Japanese name. I'm not Japanese, but I just do that for fun. It's actually a video game character my son really likes, so we just decided to do that.
Nikomata?
Yeah, Nikomata.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So neko in Japan means cat. Mata, I think, is just like a word in Japan. Yeah, so I think it's like a mythical creature in Japan who, is taking the shape of a cat. So something like that. For the cat, try to make it as solid in dimension as possible. Now, this is a very, very rough. This is a very, very rough painting, drawing. But for the value study, I usually don't want to get into too much detail. I just want to lay things out here so that I can start to do a very, very quick painting. Here's my palette. I have a very dirty palette. I don't always wash it because, with a little bit of water, I can just use this dirty water as a base for my value study. I might wipe it clean later though when I need a clean color. So this is a cobalt black, I believe. So the first thing I want to see is what is the middle value and what is the dark value. The light value definitely is the light source, which is the window. And the white fur on the cat is definitely going to be light value, like the highlight value. And perhaps the light on the ground and part of the sofa as well. So one thing that always helps is to kind of squint your eyes, see what value kind of merges together, because in today's digital photography, there's so much detail in a single photo. It's a little bit hard to just get a big shape, big read. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a huge giant brush and I'm looking at where the middle value is going to be. And for watercolor, we preserve the highlight. So I'm not going to paint the window. Everything else, I'm just going to do this. So here, okay, maybe just a little bit more pigments.
Drawing to the right that he's going to paint on.
Here, okay, so that's our window there. Okay, I don't really need to do much. There's some bars and stuff on the window. I am not going to paint that. That's not really necessary. Okay, so I am not leaving highlights on the sofa. Now this is one of the biggest trap when it comes to painting value and light, is that we have the perception of what is light. I mean, obviously, the black sofa is hidden by the light, so you will think that the light where the light is hitting the sofa, that will be the light value, but sometimes it is not. It's more of a middle value. Okay, maybe in like the very shiny areas, there can be some highlight, but it's not necessary to put those there. That's part of the background, so it's not really that important. Okay, so there's that. We got some leaves and stuff. Okay, I'm not going to paint too much detail. So the cat. This photo is heavily processed because my phone do some auto process, some AI whatever calculation or something. So it brings out all the little details from the shadow. That's not helping. So I actually have to kind of screen my eye really hard trying to get rid of some of the detail, because all these details is really not going to help me to make this painting loose and simple and readable. So I am just going to paint over that, preserve some of the light in the background. Here we go. Okay, so this is the cat shadow from the cat. And so the tail, I'll leave a little bit of light there, but I'll connect that, the dark to the cat shadow underneath the cat, leave out a little bit of highlight, and there we go. Okay. And yeah, I think the ear is not that bright either. Okay. So the rest of the background, really not that difficult to do. I would just leave out some light. This is probably the light from the window. And this, I'll connect that to the tail. Doesn't matter. And I'm gonna wrap up this layer of wash. Oops, too much paint. Okay, I'll leave a little bit. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see. So I paint around that tail. So we preserve some of the light on the tail. Okay, zoom it out again. And if I look at the photo, there is some cast shadow here. This weird looking cast shadow. Okay, I really do this, but I'm just gonna ask, since you guys are all listening, what is this cast shadow casting from? If anybody can kind of answer me. What is this cast shadow?
From a light from the room?
Yes. So the leaves. See, it's blocking part of the window, so that's where that cast shadow is coming from. Okay, so we got that little leaves and stuff. And I think that is it. That is our first wash. Okay, it's just a single value, it's a middle value, and we have our basic sense of light already. Okay, this is a little bit too much there, so I'm just gonna cut that in just a little bit. And I think the cat has a little bit of shadow on his back, very little. And here we go. Okay.
Is this a practice? So it's not the final. So this is.
Yeah, that's why I did a drawing ahead of the time, so I don't have to do a drawing twice.
Okay.
But yeah, this is something that is part of the process, though. And a lot of time, believe it or not, I might actually like the value study better. It's kind of like black and white movies. Sometimes when you look at some monochromatic movies, it actually has a little bit more drama to it. So sometimes the same thing from the value study as well. So let's start to do our second layer, which is our dark. So simple 3-value paintings, this is actually very, very helpful to make things easier to read. Okay, so there's some shadows from the window. And again, this is a good exercise because you don't have to worry about color. So you only have one color to work with, which is black. You don't even have to work with white because watercolor don't have white unless you use gouache. So all this time, I'm just using this color. And it's a good way to practice your mixture consistency as well. Okay, because it's a good time to practice the thickness of your pigments, get that values and the opacity that you need. Okay, so that's the black blanket on the black sofa. Again, this is not my home. I just found this photo because the lighting matches, and I photoshopped my cat in it. Okay. I like the brick wall though a lot. That's a good opportunity for some good colors, but not worrying about the color right now. Some shadows, some dark in here, and there's a cast shadow there. Okay, the leaf, I'm going to leave the green leaves as the middle value. So I will paint around the leaf. So we got some leaves here. Again, this is very, very simple. I am not planning to do a very complex painting. I don't have the time, and I don't want to bore you guys. I'm not a very detailed painter either. So, okay, the pot is pretty dark. It's just black pot, so has a little bit of a reflection on the right. So I will leave that. The wall is pretty dark though, so that is the black. So I'm looking at the photo and I'm reading the shape that the photo is giving me. Okay, that blanket goes down here. Okay, actually something like that. Okay, don't have to be that accurate. Okay, we're just trying to get the light in. Okay, so let's add a little bit of the light of the dark on the cat or herself. So here's an eye here. There's another eye here. I see the nose is a little bit darker. And I'm gonna squinting my eyes here. And we can make the center part a little bit darker. The drawing is kind of off for this one, but yeah, I think this is gonna work. Okay, so
And you
a
do
little
not
bit
even
more shadow.
you do not even change your brush, huh? The same brush.
Yeah, I'm lazy. I do change my brush if it's necessary, but this is a little bit more like a practice at this point, so I am not really keen on trying to get it too serious on that. So yeah, so this is pretty much it for my. I'll probably darken this shadow though, just so that I can bring out the shape of the cat a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, I think I can bring this dark shadow kind of out a little bit. Okay, so this is pretty much it. I know it's very, very rough, but this will serve me really well when I am doing the color version, because all I really need to figure out is the value. So just three simple value: the highlight, the middle value, which is just that giant big shape, and the dark value that start to help me to define what we're looking at. So already you can see we got some nice contrast here. Okay, so with that on my side, I will be painting my color version. I think it might be helpful if I zoom this out a little bit so you can kind of look at both at the same time. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Okay. And let me focus real quick. Just making sure you're getting all of that. Okay. All right. So this is a much better drawing because I spent a lot more time while you the first 30 minutes of the meeting. So get a little bit ahead of myself so you don't have to watch me draw the same scene twice.
Hi, Eric. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you always use
three values like dark, medium, and light, or do we have like more
Yes,
than
in
three
some
values?
cases I might do 4, but 3 is usually pretty good. Yeah, this is my value study for another painting. And that's usually a good way to kind of force yourself to simplify what you see, because if you are able to simplify what you see and group the value in a very good way, I think is the painting will usually look much more readable. So I am going to start painting. This time I will actually, let me see. I am going to pre-wet some of the areas because some of the light value actually has a little bit of color. So on the cat, this is just kind of clean water, but my brush is a little bit dirty, so you see a little bit of dirty water. That's totally fine though. Okay, and over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna pre-wet the surface so that I can paint some light on it. The cat, some part of the sofa, the part of the window. Okay, so we got that. Let me wash this brush. Okay, so the color on the fur of the cat is a little bit kind of like this light brown, yellow ochre. Mostly, I'll add a little bit of orange actually. Warm color fades up quite a bit in watercolor, I find. So try to warm it up just a little bit more. Okay, and there's that there. Okay, and this is the first wash, so take it easy. Don't stress too much. Okay. When I just beginning to learn watercolor, I gave myself so much pressure trying to leave out all the white and stuff. It's a lot of time it's not that necessary because a lot of time it will just fade back into almost nothing. I will get a little bit of red over here on the ear. Okay.
Eric, can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
So you put the cat through Photoshop, and how did you get the light correct on the cat?
Oh no, the lighting is already like that. I'm just trying to find a background photo that matches the light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. So the cat, you had the cat lighting, and then you found the back. Oh, that's
yeah, I found the background too because I like the cat. I like the that lighting and the pose of the cat. So I just brought that in. I mean, I can paint other cats, from stock photo, but I want to paint my own cat. So that's why I do this. Yeah, I mean, working on video games and stuff, I have quite a bit of experience on Photoshop, so I kind of use that to my advantage. Okay, so here I'm going to add some light value on the sofa as well. And that's our light on the sofa actually. I mean, later on I'm gonna probably kind of cover that up. The brick wall. Okay, so I'm going to make some maybe a little bit warmer. Okay, I'll try to. Okay, so the brick, I am not going to paint every single brick. Okay, that's not how I do it. Okay, so this part is starting to dry, so I'm going to just start working on other places. I will probably not waiting for it to dry, just simply that we can save some time. This is Cobalt Turquoise. Go ahead, sorry.
Wet on wet or like wet on like so you?
Yeah, mostly wet onto wet. So this is Cobalt Turquoise. I add some Hansa Yellow Deep. And we have this very nice looking green. Green is a color that's very, very easy to feel dead. So I usually try to mix my own green instead of get like a green straight out of a tube. Okay, so I'm just gonna paint some leaf colors and stuff. Okay, so okay, aside from the leaf, what you're looking at right now, that's the white of the paper. So right now, this is the white of it, just the color of the light. Now I'm going to paint the middle value, which is, everything that we see, this huge major shape. I like to call it major shape because everything is sort of connected. So I will start with this background here. So now this time I need to mix a value that's a little bit darker. And I'll add a little bit of blue just to neutralize that. Okay, we'll do a test here. Okay, I think that's better. It's a little bit darker. Okay, and now, again, I'm not going to paint every single brick. There's just no time for that, but I can leave, I can randomly leave out a little bit of the light just so that we can get a little bit more, kind of like a texture here. And the side of that window, I'll actually connect that. I'll make something a little bit more neutral and paint that in here. Still a little bit wet though, so that's why you get this soft edge. I don't really mind that though. Kind of gives you this nice soft effect. What I'm doing now is just the background. So it's almost like a bokeh effect from a camera. Things are a little bit more out of focus. Okay, so now I'll probably make this cooler. So I'm just gonna add some blue here. I am kind of conscious of time, so how much time do I have left?
You have almost another 25 minutes, 20.
25 minutes, okay.
Yeah, you have enough time. I mean, it's
I
wonderful.
hope so.
It's wonderful. Your black and white study looks amazing, and for the beginners like me, I'm getting a lot of kind of skills of yours and learning your talents. So
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I have a question. It's like,
Mhm.
did you make your own palette? Like, did you transfer the colors from tube to your palette?
Yeah, so I squeeze out the paint and sometimes it'll just dry on the palette, and I actually don't really mind that.
Okay.
I just kind of let it dry. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, see, I almost forgot, like all of the sofa are mostly middle value, so I almost start to like painting the shadow and stuff. Yeah, I'm here for so.
Yeah, and what kind of paper you have?
This is Baohong. It's a Chinese brand paper, and yeah, it's a very nice brand, and I think it's cheaper than most of the European brand as well.
I heard that the it's really beautiful. I've heard this name, and it's like beautiful paper, but it's not easily available here.
It's actually on Amazon now. I think since like a year and a half ago, they start to sell it on Amazon.
Okay.
So you can definitely try to look for that. Yeah, I mean, on my website, I have a section of material that I use. So yeah, I list all the link and stuff, so you guys can check those out. Baohong is it's very good paper, and yeah, the quality is pretty good, at least for now. Yeah, sometimes like some of the brand paper, they will kind of drop the ball and their papers start to like drop the quality for some reason.
I like your brush too. I like your brush too. It's a beautiful brush.
Thank you. Speaking of brush, I have a tiny little secret news that I haven't shared with the public yet. So Craftsmo, I don't know if you guys know that brand. It's mostly for art supply. They are working with me to get my own brush. So yeah, when that come out, I will share it on my YouTube channel. I think that will be would be really, really fun.
That's amazing. That's like
Yeah.
you're a celebrity. And
So,
what's the name will be?
Craftsmo.
Craftsmo.
Yeah, craft, CRAFTSMO. Yeah, so I think they just found me again on YouTube and just trying to find some YouTuber artists to get that, to have some brushes.
And
and I work with them quite closely to get the brush that that I find useful, because I want a brush that I can use as well, not just to like sell brushes. So they send me some samples and I give them some suggestion how I would use it, how I would change it. And yeah, I'm still waiting for them to give me the prototype brush. And yeah, once that's approved, they'll probably put into like production, and I will be able to get some nice brush.
Please, and when it's out, you should like come to our website. Like we can put your brush on our
Oh, sure,
page.
sure. That will be,
because we have many watercolor artists, and we would love to have that. And if you have any promotion, just let us know too. So
okay. So I'm gonna work on the cat finally. Okay, my cat is not a white cat, so I need to start to paint the middle value. So this is probably like a tough part. So I'm just gonna go with it. So my cat, it's her fur. She has like yellow fur, like light brown fur, and whatever. So I'm going to try to simplify as much as I can. Yes, that light brown fur. And again, this is a simple painting, so I am not going to pull my hair trying to get every little single detail in. Okay, so down here, the white fur part is still in the dark, so I'm just cooling off the value, but I am connecting the color. I'm connecting the value. Okay, so here's a little bit warmer and a little bit cooler. Grab that warm color, a little bit warmer here, and some brown fur, so I'm going to add just a little bit more color. Okay, wet onto wet, so those color kind of naturally blend together. Yellow fur. Okay, a little bit of blue here. White fur, gray fur, whatever. Okay, you can kind of see the color kind of blend with each other. Okay, and as long as the value is the same, it doesn't really matter. Just get that value shape in. Leave that little bit of a pall of highlight there. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky, but once you just stop thinking about cast, stop thinking about fur color and stuff, and start to just think about value, you can actually set yourself free from all the details that you're looking at, because details, while important, you want to make the painting readable. So here's that. And don't dab in watercolor. Don't do this. Don't do that. Okay. At least I don't encourage that. Try to paint with confident stroke. Okay? Because the more you dab, the less the water and the paint can flow, and your painting will end up looking, it will start to look dirty. You want to have that transparent, beautiful quality of watercolor. Okay, over here. So, zoom it out a little bit. Okay, we already have that sense of lighting, right? I will switch to a smaller brush. not a smaller brush, but this is a synthetic brush. Meaning all my brushes are synthetic, but this hair is a little bit more snappy, so it's easier to do like a harder detailed and stuff. So while it is still wet, because I don't have that much time and I want to have a little bit more soft wet onto wet effect, I'm going to paint a dark value right away. But if you look at that right now, I have the middle value. I just need to paint the dark value here. So that is, that is my map. This is just color reference, but this is actually the vision, the map that I am going for. So I will start with her eyes. Now I'm not going to paint iris, pupil, and everything. This is way too small for that. So just a dark value is fine. Okay. The color kind of bleed out. Don't panic. This is fine. Okay. And a little bit of red, and I'll get that nose in. And I am going to see if there's anywhere I actually want to push the color just a little bit. So over here, I think I can have a little bit more, just actually orange here. Again, like I said, warm color fade off quite a bit in watercolor. Okay, so add a little bit more warms when you get a chance. Now the ear, I will use some alizarin crimson, some red, a little bit of neutral tint perhaps, and get that dark in. So still pretty red, still pretty warm, but the value is darker. Okay. Under here. Okay, now just gonna use some what is this? Sorry, I start to forget the name of the color, neutral tint. Because this part I start to focus a little bit more. So okay. Okay, so okay, I need to mix a little bit lighter. Okay. Now, I'll bring that dark down actually. Again, it's still kind of moist. If you find your painting dry too fast, I know California weather is drier than Washington. So you can have a little bit of spray bottle. Okay, like a spray bottle, spray a little bit. Keep your distance though. You don't want to blast it that close. You're going to kind of ruin the wash that way. Okay, so dark and wet onto wet. Get a little bit of fur pattern in. There's that dark here. Okay, and a little bit of dark back here in the back. Okay, and this I think is starting to come together. So here I want to work on the calf first, just because that's the focus of the painting, and because the wash is still wet, and I want to have that some wet onto wet color on it. And I hope that I have enough time to finish at least 80%. So here, a little bit of dark here, and look at that tail just pops.
Eric, if you have to like go and it dries up or something, or can you cover it? Like just like in acrylic, sometimes we put some kind of plastic, so it's just moisture if you are like going for 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Oh, sorry, you're kind of cutting off. I'm not quite sure.
Sorry, what I mean is like if you have to like leave for 10 minutes, would you have some tricks to like stay wet? I mean,
no. If you have to go, you have to go. Then and I will say working section though. You see me kind of rushing this through just because I want to try to finish the painting as
Yeah.
fast as I can. But yeah, it's totally fine if you just leave it dry. And if you really want some wet onto wet work, you can wait for it to be completely dry and re-wet the paper. Just make sure it is completely dry. Okay, still a little bit wet, so I can use like a dry, damp brush, make sure it's clean and get, soften that edge there. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the cat. Now, the best thing I can do for my cat right now, after I am happy with it, is just to leave it alone and let it dry. Okay, otherwise, if you're not happy and just keep messing with it, that's not going to look good. Okay, now time to do the background. The background serves a very important purpose, and that is to bring out the cat. Okay, let me show you what I mean real quick. Just a huge mixture of black, cobalt black, neutral tint. Is the time up?
No, I have a question actually.
Oh, go ahead.
Don't you use a detailing brush or something for the fur of the cat?
Not really. I mean, this is usually as small as I can do. I mean, the tip is really, really sharp. It's really, really pointy. So I just use the tip to like if I could just do that. You can go very detailed on that. So I don't, I have tiny little brush like that. I usually don't use that just because I don't want to constantly switch in brushes. For me, have a good, consistent, clean wash is way more important than getting into detail and stuff. Okay, so
Okay.
here is the magic. So soon as I put that dark in, they start to pop out a lot, actually. So that dark value, see, it was, when you have that, compare that against the white, this feels dark. But as soon as you have something darker, they start to feel quite light. And that's the middle value, right? You think this is dark, wait till you just paint something dark on it. Now this actually feels light. So again, like the perception we have, just because, I know this is lit by the sun, so it must be really bright. So you leave everything really, really light. Sometimes that's why I do a value study there, because it really can guide you through and make things a lot simpler for you. And when you have that guide there, you know how dark things should go, and you're able to paint a painting that that looks simple, easy to read, and you can bring out that contrast. Okay, see, like the background here, I am just painting the dark. I'm just connecting that dark shape. This is a cast shadow of the pillow. Actually, I am just going to, all these pillows are actually all pretty dark. I'll leave a little bit of the light on top, but the rest of it, that cast shadow of the pillow, that's on that kind of blanket sheet, whatever. And a little bit dark, I'll actually add a little bit of blue here. So it's all dark value, but you can still play with warm and cool a little bit. I am not that big on color, actually, just warm and cool. And that cast shadow there, and we have another kind of cast shadow here. There's a shadow on that claws. There's another shadow going down here. The shadow's a little bit softer though. I'm just gonna add a little bit of the water. Okay, carefully not to paint onto the cat. Here we go. I am almost done here. Painting as fast as I can. Okay, so I'll leave that leaf as middle value. So I'm just going to paint around that green leaf there. It's probably not even the right number of the green leaf, but doesn't matter. Those are the backgrounds. Actually, I think the leaf can be a little bit darker, so I'm going to add some. Just leave it a little bit light, not too much though. Some of this can actually be a little bit darker. Okay.
Definitely the cat is the center of the image. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I
In
imagine
the rest
she
of it.
approves.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I imagine she approves of your paintings with her as the center.
Probably Eric has her image by heart, like he knows her very well. So, you know, he can paint it in the blindfolded. Isn't that Eric? You
Not that well, but
but I saw your YouTube video of your studio. You have this beautiful painting studio.
yeah, it's a tiny house.
It's very magical because I thought you have put some nice lights there. It's gorgeous, and you captured it. So I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dream of mine to have my own studio, and yeah, and I like tiny house a lot. Being kind of following that sort of movement, and fortunately I have enough space in my backyard. I just put one there.
Did you make that? Did you brought that your tiny studio in the backyard?
What's that?
That studio you have, is that you made it?
Oh no, I have a builder do that. I'm not that handy. I'm not able to do that myself.
But it's really nice. I mean, I don't know, everybody saw it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do work with them to, and they work with me to get it exactly what I want.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's definitely have my touch in it. And
we need here, we need houses, like that, like just pop it up in every backyard, but it's not possible in California,
I couldn't imagine. Housing are very, very expensive now. And actually I think some of the younger people, they start to use tiny house as their primary home because it's so much more affordable, and you don't need a huge house. Not everybody needs a huge house. So, okay. So I think at this stage, pretty much the painting is done. Okay, at as much as I can make it. But I think what's really important is that I'm able to transfer this from that. The value is pretty much the same. And of course, I have time. I will keep
working on it,
making things a little bit more refined. Like this dark pot here, I can actually just put some black there, actually a little bit of wet onto wet, get that nice dark shadow in here. So that'll feel like, oh, there's something just a little bit more defined here.
Eric, we want to see your face once you, we need 5 minutes so people can ask questions and see your face too. So keep.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm just going to put in some final touches there. There's a little bit more dark here that kind of got lost because the wash is so big. It's starting to phase off a little bit. So over here, stuff, and again, squint your eyes a little bit. Sometimes when you're focusing on the detail too much, you start to lose the overall sense of the lighting, of the value. And yeah, here we got that. Yeah, I actually shouldn't paint that. Start to look like a big cross. I don't think that's really helping. So I'll leave out some of that. And okay, a little bit of the transition here with a damp brush. And I think I almost forgot. This is going to be the last thing, I promise. I need to add that cast shadow on the wall here. I almost forgot that. And no wonder I feel like something is missing here. Okay. So that dark shadow on the on the wall, casting by the window frame. And also the dark window frame here. We'll just get that in. Okay. Okay, I think probably dry enough. Yeah, this is completely pure white that actually doesn't feel that colorful. I mean, there's a little bit, should be a little bit of the values, a little bit of color. I mean, on the floor. So I'm just gonna do like a glaze with yellow ochre. Just so that the ground is not completely white. So some part of the cast start to fade off a little bit too much. That's a little bit of headache because when you do wet onto wet, it will always phase off a little bit more than you like. So sometimes I do still come back after it is dry, just to add a few more touch up here and there. Like over here, I can still add. So you can still add that dark back in. And a little bit of the darker fur here. But I think just with that a little bit of a help, I think this actually turns out.
That's wonderful.
Turns out okay.
Wow, that's gorgeous. Let's have some members ask questions or comments or anything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
Really
take my
incredible.
camera there.
Yes, come back to the camera. Yeah, Eric. It's gorgeous.
Okay.
Hi, Eric. How do you do the bricks in watercolors? Is that too much detail?
I will probably not paint it. I mean, even if I do, it's probably just gonna be like a few colors. Yeah, I might just do like a few strokes and less about it. Oh, hold on. Let me see. My microphone got covered up.
No, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I'll probably not do much detail, especially when it's in the background. Sometimes it's very important to kind of keep that. Yeah, to really have that depth, just to get that. So a lot of time, background is something that you really don't need to put a lot of attention on. Let me see if I can actually share my screen here, so I can. Yeah.
And you, Eric, you also will you use ever pen or like the edges or something, or no? Always like watercolor.
Not really. Yeah, I like to keep it just like pure watercolor if possible, because like, yeah, I mean, I know some like urban sketchers, they like to use pen and stuff. Yeah, to me, I'm not that good at, quote unquote drawing. So usually I just tend not to do that. And I think the fun part of watercolor is to kind of have that lost and found edges. So if you do ink on it, which, is just totally fine, sometimes you lost that sense of edge. Yeah, I think I make my cat a little bit fatter than it is.
Yeah. So
How do you paint the whiskers?
So yeah, a little detail that I might add later. You can use white gouache if you want to. I'm not against using white gouache. Just don't use it to like paint large chunk of white. But yeah, a little detail like that, you can use white gouache on it. So yeah, I have white gouache on the side, so I can use like a smaller brush and just do like some real quick stroke on it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Hi, Eric. Do you use the masking fluid in your painting?
Sometime, not always. There's let me see. I might actually have it example. I don't know if I have it here though. Yeah, so sometimes there are paintings that I want to preserve like little details, but yeah, it's a little bit too much hassle to just paint around that, and yeah, I can't find it right now. Yeah, sometimes I have like little details and stuff. I will use like a masking fluid. I actually use masking fluid pen. Let me show you. It looks something like these. Yeah, it's pretty small. Okay, yeah, it looks something like these. You just kind of squeeze out and you just paint and you just kind of draw certain lines and stuff with it, and it will preserve some light.
That looks handy.
Oh, there it is. So yeah, I mean, it's on my YouTube video earlier, but actually, let me put it on here. It's
Yeah.
a little bit easier to see.
Oh.
So yeah, you see like places like these, this tiny little light bulbs. I use masking fluid for that because like if I want to paint around all of that, that's going to be a nightmare. So I just preserve some of the light here. And after I take them out, I will still glaze over with like a light yellow color so that it has a little bit of warmth to it.
That is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. That was wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me.
And yeah, and please, once you have your brushes, let us know. We will put it on our website, and and
Of course. Yeah.
yeah, and all the best for the 2022 new year.
Thank you.